Macca's Guides.
Hey guys, Macca here with a very quick and very easy game. This is Metagal, available as of late March for $5 from Ratalaika Games. It is available on the Xbox One and has 1000 Gamerscore available, and also on the PlayStation 4, where it does have a Platinum Trophy, and you can also stack it twice, once in North America and once for Europe, and then you can also repeat that on the Vita, so you can get 4 Platinum Trophies in this game if you want. Before we get started, I do want to remind you guys that I do have an ongoing subreddit thread where I'm counting down the easiest games released in 2019. I'll leave a link in the description below for that if you are interested in checking it out. As we load up the game, you will be introduced to the controls. Feel free to take a look at them. And then in this very first cutscene, you can press start in order to completely skip it. Then select the first save slot and start a new game. However, do not skip the second kind of cutscene here, as this is what the game counts as the introduction and is required in order to unlock an achievement or trophy. You can tap through all of the dialogue to make this go as fast as possible. Just make sure you don't skip it. If you do skip it, you'll just start a new game and then let it run through. The achievements and trophies are super easy. Basically, we have to complete the introduction, complete the tutorial, beat the first level, and then do a couple of really super easy miscellaneous tasks along the way. You can screw things up, and I will kind of explain exactly how and what you could do to make this last a lot longer than it really needs to. But once you are able to select the main game, which will throw you straight into the tutorial. You do have to do the tutorial, very easy stuff. You'll jump, you can hold jump to jump higher. You can shoot, you'll have to shoot enemies. Sometimes you will need to just kind of ignore the enemies, jump over them, or go under them to not take damage, and work your way through. Climb ladders, as that is a significant part of the level design. There's also a life meter in the top left corner, as well as an energy meter, and you can kind of use a super attack to use all of your energy at once. For the sake of the tutorial, it's super easy. Just run by everything. Even if you take damage, that's fine. For this little part, you will need to dash, so walk forward twice to dash, and then hold jump to do a really long jump. You will need to dash kind of in the middle of the platform to make sure you dash for long enough. In the water here, you will find your first gear. Now, gears are very important. You need 3 gears, and each time you pick up a gear, you will unlock an achievement or trophy for having 1 gear, 2 gear, and 3 gears. The one thing you do have to keep in mind is that you can use gears in this game in order to either heal yourself or revive yourself. Make sure that you do not do that until after you have 3 gears in your inventory. Here you'll have a little bit of a boss battle. Just make sure you stay behind him and attack him from the back and defeat him quite easily in order to queue up the first real level of the game. You can actually choose from a variety of levels. We're going to go for level 01 shield because I believe it is the easiest. Once you spawn in, this game does have checkpoints, and if you die, you will be you kind of respawned all the way to the beginning of the level if you don't reach a checkpoint. So it can actually be a little bit difficult if you're not careful. I would highly recommend avoiding enemies when possible and trying not to actually take too much damage. Now down here, we're just going to be working our way through all of these enemies. Certain enemies are only able to be hit when they are in a certain state. Other enemies will, drop certain things and others won't. For example, right here, I will continue along these platforms, I guess, that are moving, and making sure to dodge when possible to stay on the platforms. And obviously, I want to not take too much damage and make my way across here. I shouldn't have actually ridden those platforms at all. I could have kind of completely ignored them. Now, I pick up my second gear here, but that is not a guaranteed spawn as it was dropped from an enemy, so keep that in mind. Now, right here, you'll notice that I jump into the spikes and I die, and that's fine. I'm going to press continue instead of rebirth. You do get an achievement or trophy for dying from spikes, and you get an achievement, I think, for just dying in general. So we're going to grab both of those, and I do have 2 gears, but you don't need 2 if you have only 1. That's completely fine as well. We're going to work our way by all of these enemies and back to kind of where we were. This time, we're not going to die to the spikes. There are a lot of spikes to die from, but I would actually just recommend dying from the very first instance of spikes. because they're going to be the easiest to kind of traverse back to from the beginning of the level. So this time we're going to actually make sure to avoid the spikes. We're going to ride the platform up and to the right in order to grab our third gear. Now, on your playthrough, this might be your second gear, and that's completely fine. Once you have all three of your gears, though, you can use a gear once you die to do something called a rebirth, or you can actually heal yourself using the gears. So once you have 3 gears, you don't really have to worry about what you do with them. At this point, just make sure you make your way past these enemies here and make sure you don't die to the spikes. At this point, we're trying to make our way to the first checkpoint in order to not have to restart the level should we die. For this enemy, I just completely ignore him and work by him. These enemies, again, you probably want to take care of them. At this point, if you fall down into the abyss kind of below us, you will die and you will get an achievement. However, I'm going to actually, I'm going to just go straight past all of this, and we'll come back to the falling achievement later because I'd rather get the checkpoint and then work my way kind of backwards or whatever in terms of the achievement order. So again, this is another enemy that sometimes it's just easier to skip. And eventually here you will reach a small little boss battle. For this guy, all you have to do is shoot him in the green domes and avoid his lasers. I think he has 4 total domes you kind of have to take care of. Watch out for his lasers. They can do quite a lot of damage, but you'll just keep jumping and keep hitting him until he is fully destroyed. And then he will open the door for you and allow you to kind of proceed to the next area. Once you reach the next area, you will trigger a checkpoint, which is yet another achievement or trophy to be unlocked. At this point, if you die, I would highly recommend just pressing continue, and then you'll just be brought back to this checkpoint if you need to. I'm going to work my way through both of these kind of laser beams and then past the laser here. And I'm actually going to jump down into the abyss here underneath me. I end up kind of going through a couple of enemies before doing it. But you do get an achievement or trophy for dying from falling. And then I'm going to press continue in order to be brought back to the checkpoint I was just at. Now, we only have 2 achievements left. One is getting a rebirth with a gear. So we're going to do that right now by pressing rebirth now that I have 3 gears. If I only had 2 gears at this point, work your way forward and then get another gear so you have 3 gears. And then die and press rebirth to get the rebirth with a gear, achievement, or trophy. And at this point, the only thing we have left is to fight the final boss of this level, which is the Gal Shield, or whatever. I don't know what I don't remember what the name of the enemy types are. Gal Shield, I believe is her name. But work your way through. You'll see another gear in the top left of this screen. I believe this one is a permanent spawn. 3 of the 4 I pick up during the playthrough are permanent spawns, and then I think one of them was a random drop from an enemy. So again, I have 3 gears, and at this point, if I didn't have the rebirth achievement, just jump into the spikes, fall off the level, and rebirth yourself. And what you want to do is try to work your way up and to the ladder on the left-hand side here. You will find another checkpoint, and then you will find a boss battle. We have to destroy the boss. Now, one thing you might notice in the top left corner of the game is that you have a kind of ultra beam that you can tap B with, and then that'll do your kind of big damage move. Now, you can actually tab over to other things, and one of the options is a small gear icon in the top left. And when you have the gear icon in the top left and you use the ultimate B button, you'll actually use a gear and give yourself full health. So that can actually be a very good strategy for you if you are struggling with the final boss. Just keep in mind, if you use a gear, you will use it forever and not be able to get it back. Now, once I reach the boss, I'm going to die on purpose just because I didn't have full health, and I want to have full health for this fight. So I'm going to press continue. You also cannot rebirth during a boss fight, so if you didn't rebirth by now, you'll have to go do it in the tutorial. But the boss battle is pretty simple. They have a couple of phases, including this kind of triple burst. When they do the triple burst, you want to try to get behind them as quickly as possible, and then use your ultimate or your B button big move on them from behind and then just slowly work on them in order to take their health down. When they do have their shield up, do not attack them, as that will kind of bounce bullets back to you. When they dash at you, what you want to do is use your big move and then jump over them, and that's usually a pretty good strategy. Sometimes they'll also explode into a bunch of balls, and when they do that, you will want to just jump over. But yeah, just make sure you don't shoot at them when they have their shield up. Try to get behind them, and you should be able to take care of them quite quickly. And at that point, you should have 11 out of 11 achievements for 1,000 gamer score, or 12 out of 12 trophies for a platinum. Thank you guys so much for watching. I was able to do this game in like 9 minutes flat. As you can see on the screen, it says 9 minutes 21 seconds. I think the whole video is 10 minutes, and we also did the tutorial and intro and whatnot. So thank you guys for watching. I hope the video was helpful. Special thanks to everyone on Patreon for supporting the show. Shout out to Double L. See you guys soon. Peace.